Aaron Bain. I'm the VP of Strategic Initiatives at RightCrowd, and we're here today to talk about mobile credentials and mobile credential management. Rob, over to you.
Hi, thanks. I'm Rob Leidick. I'm the president of Wavelinks. At Wavelinks, we're the #2 reader manufacturer in the world and the #2 credential provider and the #1 for interoperable credentials for both physical as well as mobile. But that's beyond what we're talking about today. We're actually talking about beyond badges, kind of the rise of the mobile credential. What's going on? How's it flowing? Because we're seeing a tremendous adoption of these mobile credentials on specifically the wallet credentials. And my friends at RightCrowd today, we're working on a good number of opportunities, and I think their door is being beat down quite regularly now to say, help solve this mobile credential problem for us. Let's talk about the difference of NFC and BLE, differentiating those two technologies, and why are customers moving into NFC and specifically the wallet when, heck, BLE's been here for a long time. And with Wavelinks, we've actually been fortunate to ride both of those technologies, and we've got to learn a lot of lessons. Those lessons of what works, what doesn't work, what's the user experience, how does it flow into a PIAM, how does it flow with other access, and how do administrators feel about it? And there's a couple of really key items when you start looking at BLE. BLE was intended to hook up things like peripherals, your earbuds, to hook up speakers, to hook up other items that once you're in a range of it, ta-da, you're connected up. It's one of the great things that I love with my AirPods is I can just put them in and ta-da, it connects. But when we started looking at that use case and saying that would work for access control, we ran into a couple of issues. One of those first issues was user experience of how far away from a reader do I need to be? What does that look like? Do I inadvertently open a door when I'm on the secure side or the inside of the door? And as I walk past it, does it open that door up? And we found that to be, quite frankly, very regular. Where manufacturers had to work around that. They're like, I'm going to judge intent. So I'm going to do something fun with the phone. I'm going to dance and prance. And all of a sudden now the door is going to open. The second was customers wanted to make sure that it was a secure transaction. And could we encrypt that BLE? Could we make sure that nobody could jump in the middle? So for a man in the middle attack, and or we found in BLE that there was a real application of a denial of service attack. So not only could somebody put a phone or another device in between a mobile phone and a reader and be able to pick up the credential number, which is effectively referred to as a man in the middle attack, but also that you could flood a reader with BLE traffic from a single phone and make it inoperable, which end users are like, nah, that doesn't work for me. I want something that is easy to use, consistent user experience, very secure, and didn't have the ability to have a man in the middle attack. And then finally, there was a fourth variable, and that was they got to have an app on the phone that sometimes they got to open up or they've got to enter a code or push a button. And that point of friction became really a big problem, to say nothing of if the phone died and that was your only means of access, it didn't function. So a bunch of issues in that BLE, which is actually why only the small to medium business segment widely adopted it. The enterprise market would test it, they'd validate it, and they'd come back and go, I want nothing to do with this. It varies across all the iPhone devices. It varies across all the Android devices. An iPhone 6 operates different than an 8, which operates different than a 16. It was all over the board, and maintaining that and dealing with those individual user experiences was a nightmare. So they punted and said, nope, we'll wait till something else comes out, which as we introduced the NFC wallet in 2018 in higher ed, we then moved it into 2020 into the corporate space, moving into multifamily, moving into other environments as well. They're like, yes. This answers our question. Not only do I not have to have an app, I can make it a really secure communication. We all use Apple Pay, Google Pay, and some use Samsung Pay to be able to walk up and transact. And we know what it sounds like. We know what it feels like. We know how far away it is. And it works if the phone's dead. That's pretty dang cool. And it answered all the IT questions that the IT staff asked. Is it secure? Yes. It's encrypted. Is it subject to man in the middle attacks? No. Is it based off of a standard? Yes. Two of them, actually. The ISO standard, the ISO 14443, and it's based on credential standards such as the MyFair DesFire ecosystem, which is exceptionally secure. So when we start looking at those differentiation, it does come down to four main factors. Do I have to have an app? What's my user experience? Is it subject to man-in-the-middle attacks? Is it subject to denial of service attacks? And if it has all those things, want nothing to do with it, which is why people are moving to that NFC wallet.
Yeah, Rob, look, we've been doing mobile credentials a lot less time than you have. We're doing PM for 21 years, and we're in the enterprise space. And I've got to tell you that everything you've just told me is what we hear as we were introducing this to customers of their experiences. They're reflecting exactly those same things. This is our experience with BLE. We don't want to deal with that. We want something else. And I will say, one of the other things we definitely hear is that the wallet is the thing that really helps to get user adoption, because at the end of the day, end users will tell their people, this is my phone. You are not putting an app on my phone that's a corporate app. You'll be watching me. You'll be whatever. The wallet abstracts that away. And suddenly people are putting just like they do with their Visa card and their boarding pass and everything else, they're putting into the Apple Wallet and a secure element in there. And it's really got nothing to do with their personal phone. So we really see much better adoption as a result.
So as we look at how customers are making decisions for mobile credentials, mobile being BLE and or the NFC wallet, there's really very few choices that people are looking at. At the end of the day, people want it to be convenient. They want it to have a great user experience, and they want it to be secure. BLE doesn't answer any of those. It's not secure. The user experience is not great. And it really, quite frankly, because it has an app, becomes a point of friction for them. And they don't want that. With the NFC wallet, it answers all the questions. Don't need an app to be able to deploy it. It is exceptionally secure. And the user experience is just best in class. And they're using it already today for all kinds of use cases, from payment to boarding transit to boarding the automobiles to all loyalty to buying tickets, going to sporting events. It's the same user experience. So end users are running towards that. And more, I guess, the other great part here is you get to work with the likes of Right Crowd and that PIAM, really marrying that logical and physical access. It's a total win.